With UFC 322 almost a week away, Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena are deep in training, each focused on claiming the welterweight title. Makhachev looks to make history as a two-division champion, while Jack aims to defend his home turf, and as the fight nears, many MMA pros believe Islam must finish early to secure victory. Dane Thomas shared his thoughts on this fight and believes Islam Makhachev needs to end the fight quickly to stay ahead of Craig Jones' unique skills. He thinks Islam will have the advantage if he secures an early takedown and finishes before Jones can use his specialized techniques.
Well, I think that Islam's best chances are going to be really early. And I said it, if he can get him down early. Now, the Craig Jones element is a hack. It is a cheat code. Now, if you can get a man down early and just finish him before he gets started on his cheat codes, problem solved. If I'm Islam, you got to try to catch this man, because Jack's not the great, like, he wasn't like the greatest grappler prior, right? Like he doesn't come from like a grappling background. Like, he's competent, but if you can catch him early and get him to make a mistake early and then just never let him out, never let him get to his cheat code, that's where Islam's going to excel.
On the other hand, Jack Della Maddalena discusses Islam Makhachev's ground control with Israel Adesanya, pointing out that most fighters freeze once Islam gets in top, which allows him to dominate. Jack believes constant motion and urgency are a key to avoiding that trap. Adesanya agrees, mentioning how Volkanovski managed to stay a few steps ahead by staying busy and using techniques like the butterfly guard to escape bad positions. He feels Jack's quick reactions and relentless pace would make it difficult for Islam to hold him down.
Gets on top, like when Islam gets on top, a lot of guys just stop moving and they sort of take the time, and that, like, when you take that time, he's already onto the next bit and he's like pushing you down, and then, so I think, not move, like, never stop moving.
I think it's the urgency. You're just going to be too, even if you have to give up your back to get into a Grammy roar that he tries to do, you just, because I think Volk did the same thing as well here in Perth. When I was watching that, I was like, he was trying to be 2 moves or 3 moves ahead of Volk, but Volk was like 4 or 5 moves ahead, being like, cool, bop, bop, and Volk was using his one butterfly just to like kick him off, and for me,
elevating the hips and stuff.
Bro, beautiful, man. Again, I've got these fucking legs. I use butterflies once in a while. I have certain moves, but it's hard, especially when you have long legs. But you just have to train it, do it over and over again, just so you have the endurance to do it. But it's impressive, man. And the way you do it as well, like I said, the urgency, I just don't think he's going to be able to keep you down.
However, Lara Sanko is stunned by the incredible speed at which Islam Makhachev secured the Darce choke. She points that out. Normally it takes a few seconds for a fighter to adjust, tighten the hold, and finish the submission, but Islam managed to execute it almost immediately. She describes it as one of the fastest Darces she has ever seen, highlighting his elite timing and precision.
I rewatched the Moicano fight. The speed with which he snatched up that Darce was not like anything I have ever seen before. That's a submission that usually takes like at least a second or two for people to kind of like, okay, is my arm through far enough? Do I have, like, you know, it just takes like a couple seconds to really make the adjustments and put the squeeze on and collect the legs and do all the things. I've never seen someone put a Darce on so fast. And it's not like Renato Moicano is some scrub on the ground. The man is a phenomenal grappler and jiu-jitsu artist. Islam's Darce and front headlock series is nasty.
Moreover, Jack Della Maddalena doesn't even see Islam Makhachev as a smaller fighter coming up in weight, but as a legitimate welterweight opponent. He respects Islam's accomplishments and considers him among the elite in the sport, recognizing that this will be his biggest challenge yet. Confident in his preparation, Jack feels that success will come down to sticking to his strategy and performing flawlessly when it matters most.
I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. I don't look at it as like he's a different weight class. I just look at it as he's coming up to fight me in my weight class. I think it's a tough fight. I definitely think he's one of the best champions at the moment. Obviously, he's vacated the belt, but he's like one of the long reigning champions. So I'm excited. Toughest fight of my career. Feel good. Feel like I got the right game plan now. It's just a matter of putting it together on the night.
Israel Adesanya also expects Jack Della Maddalena to find a way to overcome Islam Makhachev's grappling as the fight progresses. He believes that after multiple takedown tries, Makhachev will start to notice that Jack keeps getting back up, and that's when Jack will recognize the shift in momentum and look to turn the fight in his favor.
I think there's going to be a point in this fight, this is just my biasness speaking, it's just like, there's going to be a point where by the third or fourth takedown attempt, maybe sixth takedown attempt, and he realizes, oh shit, it might be the second round, third round. Okay, this guy is not staying down. He's still right here.
Yeah.
You'll notice it. You know the feeling when like a guy decides, this guy's not going anywhere, and then you smell the blood in the water. There's gonna be a moment in this fight that will happen. I predict maybe third, fourth,
sure.
And then that's when you're gonna see him just
Do the work, keep moving. Yeah, that's it.
I can't wait.
Israel Adesanya was initially taken aback by Jack Della Maddalena getting matched with Islam Makhachev too soon. At first, he viewed the matchup as a bit disrespectful, but later understood it was actually a sign of respect toward Islam. He realized the UFC was giving Makhachev a chance to pursue greatness by going for a second title and testing himself in a new division.
He will go all the way, but look at him now. I think you're gonna do some great things in the division. It needs it though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Even for me, the fact that they give you Islam straight away, I was thinking, is that disrespectful? But I said, nah, I won't say it's disrespectful. They just respect Islam and they want to give him a shot for the belt so he can be, like Alex did, go double champ status. But I'm like,
Furthermore, Michael Bisping thinks a win over Jack Della Maddalena could elevate Islam Makhachev into the GOAT discussion. He believes that taking out Jack and then defending the title several times would be an incredible achievement, and Bisping also echoes Mike Bond's view that if Islam can hold off elite welterweights such as Sean Brady and Shavkat Rakhmonov, his legacy would reach another level, putting him in the argument for one of the greatest fighters in history.
I'm looking at his record and you're seeing Moicano, Dustin Poirier, Volkanovski twice in a row, Charles Oliveira, and then if you were a critic, then you start talking about Bobby Green. There's Dan Hooker, who's a tremendous fighter, Drew Dober, Davey Hamosh, Arman Sarukian. You know what I'm saying? So that hasn't aged bad. So yeah. I mean, listen, if he gets the job done, I think without question, he deserves to be in that conversation.
Yeah, and dude, let alone if he can defend that belt a couple times against a Sean Brady, against a Shavkat, against any of these super high-level welterweights, like I think that would kind of push his legacy over the edge. And I think we're having conversations about him being top 3 or number 1 if he defends.
Without a shadow of a doubt. If he can beat Jack, and again, it's a big if. I'm not sure what the odds are on that fight, but if he can beat Jack and go on a run and defend it 2 or 3 times. It's insane.
Michael Bisping praises Islam Makhachev for setting a new standard at lightweight with 4 successful title defenses, surpassing every champion before him. He admires Islam's decision to move up in weight, calling it the kind of bold move only true champions make. Bisping points out that competing on massive stages like Madison Square Garden is what every fighter aspires to, and Islam has earned that spotlight. He adds that even after achieving everything and securing financial stability, Islam could comfortably return home to Dagestan knowing he's already conquered the toughest challenges in the sport.
I think I'm right in saying this, the most successful lightweight ever, defended the belt 4 times.
Yep.
The record previously was 3, so that's phenomenal. And we all know about the lightweight division and how stacked that is. I mean, he's defended the belt 4 times. He's, from what I understand, quite a simple man, so, be great, step up to another weight class, take out someone else, Madison Square Garden. These are the moments that as a fighter we live for, these kind of super fight moments, Of course, he's making a tremendous living. He doesn't want to do this forever, and he can go back to his farm in Dagestan and he can live a nice, simple life and know that he's been there, done that, and tested himself. That's what we want to do as fighters.
Michael Bisping commends Islam Makhachev for stepping up to welterweight, describing him as the most successful lightweight in the sport's history. He appreciates that Makhachev didn't take the easy route of defending his belt in safer matchups, but instead chose to face tougher competition in a new division. Bisping views the move as daring and historic step, proof that Islam is chasing greatness beyond what he's already achieved at 155 pounds.
And this is why I respect Islam doing it now, when he's defended the belt 4 times. He's defended the belt 4 times. The lightweight division, he's kind of gone through all the big stars there. Okay, let's go up to welterweight. Let's try something new. Let's try and do something that's never been done. Whereas a lot of the time we see fighters, they instantly become the champ and they want to they want to challenge for another belt in another weight class because there's no risk there. There's no risk. If you lose, you're still the champ at 155 or whatever weight class it is. He's done it. He's defended the belt 4 times. He's proven that he was the legitimate best fighter at 155 pounds on planet Earth. And he's done that 5 times, won the belt, and then defended it 4 times. And now he said, right, I've done that. I've clearly proven that at 155 I'm the man. Let's see if I can do it at 170. It's incredible.
Meanwhile, Dan Hooker acknowledges Islam Makhachev's high fight IQ, but still envisions Jack Della Maddalena taking the win at welterweight. He believes Jack's size and physical strength will start to make a difference over time, especially if he forces to carry his weight. Hooker points out that Makhachev's striking defense and ground control are exceptional, making him difficult to hurt or overwhelm. Even so, he's confident that Jack's overall skill set and natural power at 170 pounds will be too much for anyone in the division to handle.
I think Jack, just because of the size advantage, like the later it goes, like that's the thing. Being the bigger, stronger guy, it's effective if you can make the other fighter carry your weight. Jack being a bigger guy, I feel like the longer the fight goes, Islam's not used to carrying that same amount of weight into deep waters. I feel like just Jack's frame and size will give him the advantage if it goes later into the fight. But Islam Makhachev is an incredibly smart fighter. On the feet, he's very hard to hit. He doesn't like getting hit at all. And then he's also very conservative on the ground. He's a very hard guy to touch. He's a very hard guy to start putting some damage on. But Jack Della, I feel like there's no one better than him right now at welterweight, and I see him winning this fight.
Dan Hooker thinks Islam Makhachev's move toward becoming a double champion is driven by his desire to create his own legacy beyond Khabib Nurmagomedov's. He feels Islam has spent much of his career being compared to Khabib and now wants to accomplish something his mentor never did. By stepping up in weight and chasing a second title, Makhachev is looking to define his own greatness and carve out a distinct place in UFC history.
The pressure's about the same, more for coming from Jack Della, because he's fighting the smaller guy. Like, you're not whenever a fighter moves up a weight class to challenge for that title, it's Jack defending his belt. He's warding off the enemy, and especially from a smaller weight class, he should be the guy with all the advantages coming into this. Makhachev, though, he's striving for greatness. He's striving for something that from someone from his team, like that's him. He's kind of been in Khabib's shadow for a very long period of time. So he's thinking, how do I step out of Khabib's shadow and surpass him and move up a weight class, become a double weight champion? Is something that Khabib never accomplished.
Michael Chandler also leans slightly toward Jack Della Maddalena in the matchup, praising his no-nonsense style built in sharp fundamentals and powerful, efficient striking. He admires how Jack uses his range to control exchanges while keeping constant pressure on opponents. Chandler recognizes that Islam Makhachev has faced plenty of larger, stronger training partners, so physicality won't intimidate. Still, he feels the key factor will be whether Jack can handle Islam's non-stop grappling pressure while maintaining his composure and effectiveness on the feet.
How do you think Islam does next weekend?
JDM is a tough. He's not much of a puzzle, man. He's pretty basic, but he is brilliant and violent and devastating with the basics, man. A little bit of range, a little bit of reach on Islam, and I won't even sit there and say, because Islam's a different breed, man. I wouldn't sit there and say, oh, he's a 155er, so he's not used to going with 170 pounders. I would not be surprised if Islam, his entire career, has been sparring with 55, 70, 185, and 205ers, because the dude's kind of a nut. So I think I don't think strength or size is going to be the problem. It's really going to be the dichotomy between JDM's great striking abilities and is his takedown defense enough to stop the onslaught of wrestling that Islam's going to bring.
Paddy Pimblett also throws his support behind Jack Della Maddalena, confident that Jack's crisp boxing will dominate the striking exchanges against Islam Makhachev. He doubts Islam can keep up if the fight remains standing and mocks him for boasting about old victories. Pimblett even calls him out, daring Makhachev to return to lightweight so they can face each other and prove who really belongs at the top.
Don't know how I see it playing out, but I hope JDM absolutely punches his little head in. Yeah, I hope JDM batters him. I think JDM's a much better boxer, and if he can keep it on the feet, then he will absolutely batter him, and I hope he does. Islam was chatting pony the other day, saying who have I beat when he got a title shot at lightweight off beating Bobby Green, someone who I beat faster than you little bum. So how about that one, Islam? Get back down to lightweight and I'll punch your head in as well.
However, Johnny Walker favors Islam Makhachev to come out victorious, admiring his polished technique and studied performances over the years. He acknowledges that stepping into a higher weight class introduces tougher, stronger opponents, yet he believes Islam's discipline and skill will allow him to adapt smoothly and thrive among the welterweights.
Who do you favor in that fight?
I think Islam. Yeah. He's been a really tough fight and incredible technique for the last all his career, you know, and I believe he still can get it. But as I said, it's a new division, new body type, new power, everything. He's moving up. It's a big testing for him, but I believe he can do good too.
Bilal Muhammad also breaks down the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, emphasizing that Jack must stay flawless once the fight goes to the ground. He notes that Islam's patience and control often overwhelm opponents, leaving no room for recovery. Bilal highlights that Makhachev rarely misses an opportunity to capitalize, while Jack still tends to expose himself in dangerous positions. Those small lapses, he warns, are exactly what Islam can turn into fight-ending moments.
Versus Jack, for me, breaking down this fight stylistically, obviously trained with Islam, fought Jack. It's going to come down to if it hits the ground. If it hits the ground, for Islam, I think his top game is going to be really good. He's very smart, very controlled, doesn't let you off the hook when you make a mistake. Jack makes mistakes on the ground. He uses it to scramble. He has good scrambling ability. He has moments where he's like lapses safety, right? He'll give up his back, he'll give up his neck, he'll give up an arm triangle. And you can't do that with Islam. Islam's going to see that, and he's going to exploit it. I think if Islam comes out wrestling right away and forcing that takedown right away, making that work, it's going to be a long night for Jack.
Chris Duncan expects Jack Della Maddalena to get the win over Islam Makhachev, though he admits it's a tough matchup to predict. He gives Islam credit for his durability and elite grappling, noting that moving up in weight could make his chin even stronger. Still, Duncan points out that anything can happen in MMA, making the outcome far from certain despite his lean toward Jack.
And you're a big 155er, so you think Islam translates up to welterweight, or you think that's not going to work out against JDM?
No, I think GDM is going to beat him, to be honest. Obviously, Islam will have a little bit more of a chin at that weight class. Fuck, I don't know, man. The grappling of Islam is good. You know, he's not Bilal Muhammad. You know, it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. You know, especially, you know, there's so many factors. That's why the betting odds are always so good on MMA, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
Nick Barnhill views the clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena as an intriguing test for both men. He believes Jack's build and striking style bring problems Islam hasn't faced yet often. While he regards Makhachev as one of the most well-rounded fighters in the sport, he finds this matchup especially interesting because longer, technically skilled strikers have sometimes managed to trouble Islam in the past.
From a technical side, this fight is intriguing because what we're seeing out of Jack Della Maddalena is a totally different style of fighting and body type than what we've seen Islam compete against at 155. Yeah. Now, Jack is a very high level striker, and we've seen him have a ton of success at 170 against other great strikers and grapplers, but nobody at Islam Makhachev's level. Now, skill for skill, most people still have Islam Makhachev as the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC. But this style versus style is very intriguing because Islam has had trouble against rangy strikers, people who can extend their punches and find his target at the end of his strikes.
Nick Barnhill expects Jack Della Maddalena to push an aggressive pace, but believes the fight's direction will ultimately hinge on Islam's strategy. He notes that while some fighters drift away from their grappling once they find success standing, Islam remains committed to his foundation and submission threats. Barnhill also anticipates Makhachev mixing in clean, calculated striking to manage range, much like he did in his rematch with Alexander Volkanovski.
Fight camp is going to dictate where this fight takes place. Islam is not like most guys where once they start finding knockouts or once they start having a lot of success with their feet, they wind up becoming knockout artists. Islam still knows his best way to win this fight is by taking Jack to the ground and cooking him, and then basically finding a submission or some ground and pound. I don't see Islam going out there trying to just strike with the high-level striker, but I also don't see him selling out for a takedown. I think Islam's going to go out there and be measured the way we saw him against Volk in the second fight. He's going to stay on the outside. He's going to look to strike and throw some kicks.
Colby Covington considers the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena as an exciting stylistic clash, particularly interested in how the size difference could impact the outcome. He admits Islam will be the smaller man in the cage, but praises his versatility and ability to control opponents once the fight hits the mat. Covington believes that if Makhachev manages to impose his wrestling, he's likely to take the victory, though Jack's dangerous striking keeps things uncertain. In the end, he leans toward Islam, trusting his grappling edge and the odds that favor him.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, Islam, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
And that's all for today's video. How do you see this matchup playing out? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.